Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of So What You Saying. My name is Tom.
And I'm Sean.
Good to see you again. It's been a
Yeah, yeah,
long time since we last recorded.
yeah. Sorry about that. It's just the busy end of summer and just life getting in the way a bit. But yeah, good to be back. Good to be back on the train, as it were.
We're going back to album rankings for this video. It's been quite a while since we've done one of those. In this episode, we'll be ranking all of Fear Factory's studio albums, their main line studio albums. So we'll be looking from Soul of a New Machine right up to Aggression Continuum. We won't be reviewing or ranking the spin-off albums they did, like the remixes or the B-sides or even the Concrete album they did. Okay, kicking off with the debut, Soul of a New Machine. Very different compared to, well, I wouldn't say it's very different, but it's a very death metal sounding album with bits of melodic vocals and techno and electronic music mixed in. This album I listened to a fair bit though. There are some very good songs on this album. Songs like Martyr, Scapegoat, Crisis, Crash Test, Scum Grief, Self-Immolation. Songs like that I listen to quite often. The production for a debut, it's not too bad. I think they probably their worst produced album outside of an album that we'll talk about a little bit later on. My major complaint with this album, though, is that there's far too many songs on it.
Yeah,
There's something like 16 or 17 songs on this album. It's one of their longest albums they've done, if I'm correct in saying that. Out of those 16 to 17 songs, I probably listened to maybe 10 of them
yeah,
repeatedly. Some of them were songs that they recorded on the Concrete demo, which they later re-recorded for this album. Most of them are on the later part of this album. A lot of those songs are very forgettable in my opinion, but the songs that I mentioned earlier and a couple of others, they're very strong songs. A lot of those songs are still staples in their set list to this day. Like I said, I listen to it to a fair amount. I enjoy it. I don't think it's a great album though. I would probably have it sitting in the good category. What do you think?
yeah. I think good is about right. This is actually not the first Fear Factory album I listened to. It was probably like after about 3 or 4 albums, I went back and listened to this, and yeah, it's definitely not like they would go on to be. I mean, there's elements of what they would go on to sound like in this, but like you say, it's very sort of death metally in parts, especially Burton's vocals. He's very growly in a lot of areas, which is fine. It's a good. I like that kind of vocal style, but usually in death metal, having been used to hearing what he was like in follow-up albums before this, it just sounded. It was like okay, yeah, he's sort of improved in many ways, I guess. So yeah, I think Martyr, great opener, Crisis, Scapegoat, Leech Master, all pretty solid songs. But yeah,
Leech Master. That was the other song I forgot to mention. That's a
yeah,
very good song.
yeah. So like those sort of like group handful of songs, but then when you get past that, I just barely remember like the last 5, 6 songs on this album because, like you say, 17. I don't know. No one was seemingly reining them in at the time, probably. And yeah, so I'd say it was good. It's a decent debut album for him.
Excellent. So you happy for it to go in good then, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, it is a good album. I listen to it quite a lot, but compared to what they go on to do, I think they've done way better albums than this one.
yeah, for sure.
Speaking of doing better albums, we have their second album, Demanufacture. This is one of my, not just one of my favorite heavy metal albums of all time, it's one of my favorite albums, period. And I'm talking top 10 here. I have it up there with other albums like Ride the Lightning, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Revolver by the Beatles. I listen to this album a lot. I remember the first time I heard it. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was walking to the train station from my friend's house. It was freezing cold. It was pitch black. And I turned and he said, "Oh, you should check out this band Fear Factory. I think you'd really like them." Burnt the album to my iPod, press play, and that opening with those industrial sounds. Then the kick drum kicks in, and then you hear that riff syncopated with the kick drum, and then it's just like one of the greatest opening tracks to any heavy metal album, and I was just blown away. By the time I got like halfway through Zero Signal, I was like, this album's amazing.
What a song.
Seriously, I can't believe how much I am loving this music I'm listening to right now. I think the production is insanely good. I could be wrong, but I think they recorded this album to tape. They didn't
Oh,
record
really?
it digitally. No, it was all done through tape,
Yeah,
and they had to do some weird processing, getting the production to sound the way it did. And Dino used like a modified Marshall head he had at the time,
yeah,
and he also recorded it with I believe a 6 string guitar because it's before he got his first 7 string,
yeah,
which probably gives the guitar tone, the guitar sound on this album that unique sound. I think the drums sound incredible on this album. I think Burton is leagues better than he was on the first album. I think the artwork is just iconic, one of my favorite album covers of all time. I mean, the songs on this album, just look at the first four that appear: Demanufacture, Self-Bias Resistor, Zero Signal, and Replica. All four of those songs back to back is just crazy. And even the deep cuts like Body Hammer, HK Hunter Killer, Piss Christ. Oh, it's just, I just don't really have a bad. If I have to nitpick, I'm not the biggest fan of the song Flashpoint. It sounds like a song that belonged on the previous album, but it is only a nitpick. I mean, it's still a good song, just not, in my opinion, not as good as the other songs. I even really enjoy their Head of David cover, Dog Day Sunrise. I think it's placed perfectly in the middle of the album, and it sort of just gives you a little bit of a break from all the chaos that came before it and what comes after it as well. Demanufacture is a masterpiece. Honestly, one of the best albums I've ever heard.
can't really pull it much better than that, mate. To be honest with you, absolutely a masterpiece. This was one of those albums that, again, you sort of put me on to. I'd heard a couple of, well, I'd say a couple. I think I'd only heard Self Bias Resistor uh, before hearing the album from start to finish. And I remember it quite well. It was back in 2007, I think, on the way back from Download Festival. And it was you and a couple of others were talking about it. And you were just like, dude, just listen to this album from start to finish. Listen to the one after this. And yeah, just getting yourself into Fear Factory. And fuck me, what a journey it's been on ever since. I mean, you've got the staple kind of, man meets machine vibe going on right from the word go from this album. What they would pretty much make their own genre in a way going forward. And yeah, I love the Terminator, and they were clearly inspired by this when they were writing the songs and just the themes
There are
throughout.
Terminator samples all over this
All over,
album.
yeah, and yeah, it's brilliant. I love that. Yeah, I mean, you were talking about Zero Signal. That's one of the better songs on their discography, I think. Just
That's my favorite Fear Factory song.
is it? Oh, well, there you go. It's just the riff halfway through when you have like the electronics spattered throughout it as well. It's just what a song that is. Yeah, and it's perfectly paced, like you say, with things like New Breed, Dog Day Sunrise, and then you've got Body Hammer, which literally feels like a fucking body hammer. Like, it is so heavy, but it is great. Burton's vocals, like you say, definitely have stepped up a gear. He's got more of that kind of, rather than the kind of growliness, the sort of like the from like the death metal kind of vibe. He's gone up to like the more sort of kind of, it's like a harsher sound, but it's more of a in tone, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And again, that's,
Even though he's yelling a lot on this album, you can
yeah,
understand what he's saying.
you can understand what he's saying, and as I said, it's got levels to it throughout each song, and he's one of my favorite vocalists of all time, especially from this album onwards. Nothing bad to say about it, really. It's
Mm.
definitely a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned.
Even like that soundscape they do at the end of A Therapy for Pain, I
Yeah,
just love it. I just
yeah,
think it's such a unique, you've had all this barrage of heavy songs, bar than the Dog Day Sunrise song, and then
yeah,
the album ends, you know, with this like soundscape piece of
yeah.
music.
Almost
You know,
ethereal in a way. It's like you've been taking
yeah,
this like destructive journey, and then this is your release almost. So
yeah. Just a
um,
very cool way to end the album. But
yeah,
yeah, masterpiece.
masterpiece. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, moving on. Fear Factory followed up one masterpiece with, in my opinion, another masterpiece, but I'll let you take the lead on this one, Sean.
Nice. And in my opinion, also another masterpiece. And it is probably arguably my favourite Fear Factory album. There is one that comes quite close later on, spoiler alert. But concept albums. We like a concept album, don't we, Tom?
This
And
is my second favorite Fear Factory album. It's
nice.
very close. If Demanufacture's a 10, Obsolete's like a 9.5. They're super, super close.
Oh yeah. I did go through a period of time when I first heard the albums because I listened to Demanufacture and this one pretty much back to back. The production on this is definitely, I would say, more polished, slightly maybe than Demanufacturer, than Demanufacture. But when you come in with a song like Shock, it just literally is a shock to the system. Absolutely brilliant opener. The start of the kind of the concept that would go almost throughout the sort of their discography as well, because there's like a kind of like a meta story going on throughout these albums, isn't there? Which kind of really establishes itself in this album. Going into Edge Crusher, which is the sort of the theme of the concept, and it's like, you know, the sort of from the character's perspective, and then you go into Smash and Devour, which again, it's almost very self-descriptive. These songs, they really do sort of smash and devour their way through the album. Securitron, I mean, it just keeps getting better and better when you hear like the sort of like the police and the little sound bites that are going on behind it. Police State, and you think, well, it's not too far from reality, really, is it? Freedom or Fire, one of the highlights of the album for me, because it's a strange one. It kind of has a bit of a drum and bassy kind of feel to it halfway through, but
Yeah.
be metaled up. Obsolete title track, one of my favorite title tracks from their discography. It's just, again, just relentless. And then going into Resurrection and Timelessness, it's just, you know, what a kind of a journey that they've taken you on in this album as well. But again, concept album for me is just gives it a little bit more of an edge. I just can't help it. I'm a sucker for it. Yeah. And then
Everything about this album has quite a warm feeling to it. Like
that's a good point.
Demanufacture feels, very cold and sort of uninviting in a way, even down
Yeah.
to the album artwork, the color scheme, the purples, the blues,
Yeah.
whatnot. Whereas, Obsolete from production, a bit of a warmer production feel to it, might have something to
Yeah.
do with the fact that Christian's recording bass on this album, it's not all Dino.
Yeah.
The guitar sound warmer. Even down to like the color of the album cover,
Yeah. Exactly.
that
Yeah.
brown,
Yeah.
the browns and the yellows and whatnot. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, it's still, I don't mean warm as in like it's warm and cuddly, because this album is incredibly heavy and it's
Yeah.
got incredibly dark themes to it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an album that has, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more comfortable to listen to. It's
Yeah.
probably a little bit more accessible
Yeah.
to the ear
Yeah.
than Demanufacture, because like you've got songs like Descent and
Yeah.
Resurrection and Timelessness, the more softer side of Fear Factory,
Yeah.
if you will. But then after Descent, they follow up with a song like High Tech Hate,
I
which
take.
in
Yeah.
which in my opinion is one of their most underrated songs.
I just love the journey of it because, you know, it starts off, like you say, it's quite positive. You know, you've got this, you know, it's rising up against these machines, and then the machines are like, no, you're screwed, mate. You have no hope whatsoever. You know, we'll give you a little bit of it at the beginning. You know, you're a shock to the system, and then it just, yeah, when it gets to like Securitron and Descent and then Freedom of Fire, you just, you know, this guy's in a world of trouble.
Mm.
So yeah, he's like, yeah, John Connor kind of character of it, and then you've got the T1000 going, no, 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 no. Your days are numbered, mate. So yeah,
Yeah, the ending of Obsolete is basically the machines win,
yeah,
and it's not a
depressing.
happy ending.
No, but it's, yeah, but I love it for that because it's kind of like sort of not everything has a happy ending. You know what I mean? I can't get enough of this album. Every now and then, I just want to like listen to Terminator, but done Fear Factory style, and then with an actual like story you can follow along to it as well. I stick this on, and yeah, absolutely love it, mate. So for me, it's a masterpiece. But yeah, I'll leave that to you.
No, definitely masterpiece. No complaints there.
Awesome.
Moving on, we have Digimortal. Funny enough, this is an album that took me the longest time to go back and listen to. I listened to
Yeah,
it like when I first bought it, like once or twice,
yeah,
and with the exception of the big songs like Linchpin, it didn't really stick with me. Probably because they went down, um, I don't know if it's the right term to use, but a slightly more commercial route, if you will.
yeah,
It's not until I last saw them, and they played like three songs from Digimortal, and they played the song What Will Become, which is the
yeah,
opening on that album. And I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good song. I should really, and my mate I was with at the time, he was like telling me afterwards, oh, dude, you've got to go listen to Digimortal. It's like when I first bought the album, I never stopped listening to it. It's like one of my favorite albums of all time.
yeah,
And then I actually sat down and gave it the time. I really ended up enjoying it
yeah,
to the point where I was like, my God, I can't believe it took me this long to listen to this album. I don't know why, I just always dismissed it.
yeah,
But What Will Become, I think, is a great opener. There's a riff in that, the main riff in that song would make both Monkey and Head from Corn give the double thumbs up.
yeah, yeah.
Songs like Damaged, the title track Digimortal, No One, in my opinion, is another underrated Fear Factory song. Of course, you've got Dark Bodies, Invisible Wounds, I think it's called,
Yeah.
Acres of Skin, Linchpin, of course. There's one terrible song on this album
Back,
called what's it called again? Back the fuck up.
back the fuck up. Yeah,
Yeah, that song is trash.
yeah,
But outside of that, the remaining of this album, the songs are either really good or they're solid.
yeah.
Um, and the album artwork's pretty cool as well. I'd probably put it in the good category. I don't think it's a great album, but it's certainly better than certainly above average. So I think it sits nicely and good next to Soul of a New Machine.
I was more teetering on average, but actually, like, Linchpin is is a pretty good song. Invisible Wounds again, nice, nice, sort of halfway through track. What will become good opener, like you said. Other than that, gets a bit hazy for me because like I've listened to it a few times. Back the fuck up just drags it down from good though for me, I have to say. But yeah, I know they were kind of sort of going for that. I wouldn't say commercial, but again, it probably makes sense now looking back on it. But yeah, more of a I don't know new metal-y rap. It doesn't sound like new metal, but you know what I mean when you get like kind of like rap, almost like rap songs in this. It's a little bit odd compared to what they did before. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna like argue like till the cows come home about putting it in average. If you want to put it in good, I'm happy with that. I remember actually you saying when you saw them that time recently, I was actually surprised just how much of Digimortal they did play, and you know,
I think the reason for that, and I'm only speculating, is that the reason why they didn't play so many songs on the album for a long time is Burton just couldn't sing them anymore.
just couldn't see them. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Whereas with their new singer, I keep calling him new singer. He's been in the band for like 4 years now.
yeah, no, yeah.
But their current singer, he can sing a lot of those songs now.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want to put it in average, I can live with that. For years, I thought it was an average album. Certainly
Well,
compared to some of the other albums coming up.
Well, yeah,
I
that's
could.
this is what I'm just thinking. I'm thinking like, yeah, some of the other albums are really actually just average. So yeah, put it in good, mate. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that.
All right, then Digimortal, you go into good, but if people want to put it in average, or some people may even want to put it in great, I can live with that.
Yeah,
Moving on, we have Archetype, which this album and the album following it has probably the most weird Fear Factory lineup.
yeah,
Dino was kicked out the band, or the
yeah,
band continued without him, however you want to put it. The lineup was Burton on vocals, Christian switched from bass to guitar,
yeah.
Raymond stayed on drums, and they recruited the strapping young lad bassist Byron Shroud to be the bass player.
Mm.
So this is the most weird period of Fear Factory. This
Time for bed.
Sorry, Alexa telling me I have to go to bed.
Time for bed, Thomas.
Yeah.
You should leave that in.
This was roughly the time, 2004, 2005 was when I first really got into Fear Factory. It's when I first heard Demanufacture and I started diving through their discography. I think the first five songs are amazing.
Yeah.
Five of the best songs Fear Factory have written. 10 out of 10 songs. Slave Labor, Cyber Waste, Act of God, Drones, and the title track Archetype are just amazing songs.
Mhm.
However, after that, the songs are either, in my opinion, forgettable or they're just okay. It's a bit of a mixed bag. I'd probably allow it to just tread into the good category because I really like the production on this album as well.
Yeah.
Being a bass player, the bass is pounding in this. Put it this way, you definitely know when it's there and when it's not there. I think Raymond displays some of his best drumming on this album as well.
Hmm.
And probably Burton's best vocal performance. It's either this one or an album coming up, in my opinion. Some of the songs are incredibly melodic, very
Yeah.
well written, great melodies, to the point where even Dino, who likes to largely dismiss this era of the band for obvious reasons, even he has conceded that songs like Slave Labor, Archetype, they need to be played live because they're very, very good songs. Oh, I think I'd put it in the good category. If
Yeah.
yeah, I would say good. I know I kind of wasn't too keen on the later part of the album, but there are some songs on the later part which I can listen to and enjoy. So I'd put it in good. It just makes it into the good category for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think like not that they didn't have a point to prove anyway, but I don't know. This feels more like a bit. I don't know. It's weird. The first half of this album for me feels more like a Fear Factory album than quite a lot of the stuff on Digimortal did. Uh, Slave Labor is an amazing opener. I will give
Oh, one of my favorite Fear Factory songs.
absolutely brilliant. Like you could put that anywhere in the set list, and it would belong for me. So Cyber Waste, good track as well. Title track Archetype, like you said, Burton's vocals. They tend to be they they shine more in the melodic sort of side because I know he's gotten a load of shit over the years about not really being able to, the sort of singing kind of comes out is kind of out of place in some parts on like certain albums. Other than that, I don't really listen to this album a hell of a lot just because I guess when I was getting into them, I just thought of Fear Factory is not the same about Dino. I guess I know I was probably one of those people, but as time has gone on, I listened to it a handful of times over the years, and yeah, like you say, I said the first sort of five, six tracks are really strong. So yeah, again,
Well, I think they did a very good job at emulating Dino's
yeah, they did.
style.
Yeah, yeah, they did. So so props to them for that. So yeah, I'm happy to put it in good as well.
Awesome. Archetype, you go into good. Following up, I think just a year after the release of Archetype, they released Transgression. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This album is garbage. It's by far their worst album. It's a terrible album.
Yeah.
I listened to it today, so it's fresh in my mind. I hadn't listened to it for a very long time, and I was reminded very quickly why I don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say some good things about it.
504 million billion degrees, whatever it's called.
The opening track, 540,000 degrees Fahrenheit, is a solid opener.
Yeah.
The song Transgression is pretty good. And the final song, Moment of Impact, is pretty good as well. That's it. The rest of this album is terrible. The songs are forgettable. The production by Fear Factory standards is terrible. Their
Yeah.
worst produced album. This is the album I was alluding to earlier when we were talking about Soul of a New Machine in
Yeah.
regards to production. They just sound so uninspired. Every single member of Fear Factory has at some point has talked about how much they dislike this album. Dino doesn't even like to acknowledge its existence. It's when you look at rankings of Fear Factory albums, this album is always at the bottom.
Mm.
It's weird as well because I had a friend at the time. Well, he's still my friend, but at the time, Christian Old Walbers was selling his guitars,
Oh yeah.
and he was selling his two Jackson guitars, and my friend actually bought one from him. He bought it from him through Facebook,
Yeah.
and he wrote on the back of the guitar that I used this guitar to track Archetype and Transgression, and he also gave him like a load of free merch as well, including a Transgression T-shirt, and it was
Oh
too
yeah.
big for him. It was too big for my friend, so he gave it to me. So
Yeah.
I've got like a T-shirt, a Transgression T-shirt. I'm probably the only person in the world that has one.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
That.
gifted to, which was gifted to me vicariously through my friend by Christian Old Walbers. But yeah, I digress. Shite album. I put it in the terrible category.
I've got nothing to add to that, mate. Like literally, I listened to the opening track and Transgression, and then that's it. I honestly just it's just so weak. Like you say, the production is just really just not not what a Fear Factory album should sound like, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, like I barely remember it, mate. Sorry. So yeah,
I also remember one of the members of Fear Factory vaguely saying that the record label they did at the time did virtually nothing with it,
yeah,
and they gave them almost no money to work with. And you can tell if you look at the music videos they did at the time, they were terrible,
yeah, yeah,
like just terrible.
yeah.
Look up the video for Moment of Impact. It's someone's literally just filming Burton driving around his car in his
Right, right,
car. It's
right.
terrible. It's
Yeah,
terrible. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Supernova. I vaguely remember being all right, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm.
This album has like 2 or 3 covers in it as well. They couldn't get enough original songs
Oh,
together to fill out the album, so they had to chuck covers in there. I think they did a U2 cover.
oh yeah,
So yeah, it's just please, if you're into Fear Factory, if you want to get into Fear Factory, do not start with this album.
yeah. Don't start with this one.
Moving on, we follow up Fear Factory's worst album with one of the best albums of their entire catalogue,
Oh yeah.
with the return of Dino Cazares. Sean, I know you really like this album, and I love this album too, but I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Oh, mate. This is the album that was the return to form for me. You know, the opening track, Burton's vocals are just relentless in this, just from start to finish. It just pounds you, and you've got Gene Hoglan on the drums for this, the legend that he is. Yeah, going in straight into industrial discipline. There's no let up with this at all. The again, just the chainsaw riff drum combination on this is just a thing of beauty as far as I'm concerned.
There are blast beats all over this album.
Oh god, yeah. And then
Hoagland blasts.
yeah, the atomic clock is just all over this album, man. You get to Fear Campaign, and then all of a sudden it kind of goes a bit kind of eerie and ethereal, and you get like Fear, the mind is fear. And then Burton just lets out an almighty scream for the ages to begin this album, to begin this song. And I'm just like, oh yes, we're back. We're back. Then it goes into Power Shifter, which is arguably one of the heaviest songs I think I've ever heard Fear Factory or anyone play.
What a song. That was
Just,
the first teaser song they released for the album.
was it the first? Oh man. Well then, yeah. I mean, it was a good teaser for sure
I
because
love the chorus in that song. Excuse me.
oh yeah, it's because he's singing it, but he's sort of a combination of singing and kind of screaming. It was like Power Shifter, but it's awesome, man. It just keeps. There isn't really a kind of a weak point of the album for me. I mean, Metallic Division is just like an interlude, and even that's just pretty cool, leading into one of my favorite closing songs to any album of all time in Final Exit. But
Oh my lord, I love that song.
I've skipped over Christploitation, which again is just another ripping in your face. Fear Factory does what it does best, and yeah, it goes back to the more kind of revisiting the kind of industrial. Not that it ever really left it that much, but more so along the lines of Demanufacture and Obsolete, with the kind of the machine and man, and fighting against it and rising up, and just all of that good Fear Factory stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely love this album. I think Industrial Discipline, Fear Campaign, Power Shifter, phenomenal songs. You forgot to mention the song Controlled Demolition,
Well, Demolition, yeah,
which in my opinion is one of the most underrated Fear Factory songs of all time.
yeah.
Burton's vocals on that
Oh,
during that chorus are just amazing.
yeah,
Just phenomenal. I just love the melody of the vocal line in the chorus and the riffs in that song. The way there's that fucking crazy
yeah, yeah,
section, and then the guitars drop in. It's just bass and drums, and then the guitars come back in, and then the slides are introduced. It's just like the perfect song.
yeah.
And Final Exit, just I absolutely love that song.
Beautiful song. This
You can
is
hear some of that U2 influence coming in
yeah, yeah.
in
It
that
is.
song.
I think Burton kind of rediscovered his anger on this album, and it showed, and it was. But also with Final Exit, he's got the melodic style down. One of the best vocal performances I think he's done for
Yeah,
them.
easily their most heaviest album.
Oh god, yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is why I love it.
Likewise. Moving on, we have the Industrialist. I'm not a huge fan of this album. I don't
Mm.
think it's a bad album. I think it's a very average album.
Yeah,
I sort of we've used this phrase a lot. I sort of phantom menaced this album when it first came out because I loved Mechanize so much.
yeah.
I
So
wanted to love the Industrialist just as much as that album.
mm.
Um, I can't recall the first song they released. It may have been the song The
Yeah,
Industrialist,
it was. Yeah.
or would it have been Recharger? I think it may have been Recharger.
All
Well,
right.
that was a pretty good song. When
Yeah.
the album came out, they told the fans that, Hoagland's not on this album. We don't have a drummer at all on this album. It's all
Mm.
the drums. It's been tracked with a drum machine. So that sort of rolled a few. I did kind of, I'm not, I did kind of roll my eyes a little bit. My opinion hasn't really changed that much on it. I know they've released Reindustrialized
Yeah.
about a couple of years ago, where they got a drummer in to actually record all the drum parts, and Dino changed a few things with the guitar.
Hmm.
But it doesn't save the album from still being very average, in my opinion. After the first four songs, and for context, I listened to this album literally earlier on today. I can't remember how the rest of the album goes.
Yeah.
It
It's a bit.
just doesn't. It just doesn't stick with me, and I've listened to it
Yeah.
enough. Once I get past God Eater,
Mm.
I just can't tell you how any of the other songs go on this album.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not a bad album. I think it's incredibly average, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you, mate. I was so hyped after Mechanize. I was like, here we go. Fear Factory is like a new force. Well, not a new force, but it's a force to be reckoned with once again. They've sort of re-established themselves as these sort of like industrial metal behemoths. And yeah, again, I've just it just fell a little bit short for me, a little bit flat. And like you say, with the whole drum machine thing, I was like, oh man, because I thought, can you imagine another album with Gene Hoglan and the same like lineup, and them just going from strength to strength? Obviously, Gene's like in the nicest possible way. He's a bit of a drumming whore, isn't he? So he's got quite a few bands under his belt and stuff like that, and he's a very busy man. So yeah, fair enough. Recharge is decent. Depraved Mind Murder was all right as well, I thought. But yeah, again, it's not something that I'd like go back and listen to as much as Mechanize, because that just like struck a chord with me around that time. Um, so I'm happy to put it in average as well, to be honest.
I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for me, and I've
Yeah,
noticed it doesn't really do it for a lot of other people as well. At least out of the lists I've seen. So, but I don't think it's a bad album. I think it can
yeah,
sit in
no,
average.
I could definitely listen to it over like Transgression, for
Yeah.
example.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that ain't difficult. Anyway, moving on, we have, in my opinion, a huge return to form after the botched Industrialist album,
yeah,
Genexus. Funny thing is, when this album first came out, I wasn't really in a Fear Factory mood or frame of mind. So I listened to this album once, I kind of shrugged, went, yeah, it's okay. And I didn't really listen to it again for the longest time. It
yeah.
wasn't until maybe like a couple of years ago where I was really starting to get back into Fear Factory again. Aggression Continuum was just about to be released. And I thought, I'm going to go back and listen to Genexus and give it another go. Holy crap, I absolutely love this album now. Uh, I enjoy like what how many songs? 10 songs? I probably enjoy maybe 8 of the 10
Yeah.
songs, Autonomous Combat System, Anodize, Dielectric, Soul Hacker. I
Ooh,
mean, my God, absolute Dino brings the 8-string guitar out for that one again.
yeah,
Fucking
yeah,
great song. It's like a spiritual successor to Edge Crusher. It's so bloody heavy.
yeah.
Proto Mech, Regenerate. I even really enjoyed the last song, Expiration Date as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just think it's a great album. It's another concept album. Fear Factory, for the most part, have always had pretty good production, but this is one of the better produced albums
Yeah.
out of albums that are genuinely really well produced.
Mhm.
And I think the album cover's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a great, not a masterpiece, but definitely a great album.
Yeah, I didn't listen to this for the longest time. When it first came out, I was just like, oh, it's going to be like the Industrialist again, isn't it? So I didn't actually bother listening to it when it first came out. It wasn't until recently when we were talking about doing this, I was like, oh, bloody hell, yeah, I should really listen to that album because, you were saying that actually you quite liked it. And I thought, do you know what? Long time has gone on. I think this was like 2015, so about 10 years actually since this came out. And yeah, man, it really caught me off guard. It was kind of like it sounded a bit more like Mechanize to me. It was almost like a part two to that. Not quite as good as it, but with songs like the opening two and a dielectric. That surprised me. That's kind of got like a, if I'm not mistaken, it's got like strings at the beginning.
Yeah, it's got
Like,
like those cellos at the beginning.
yeah, and then again the guitar sort of follow those, and then the drums kind of kick in. I thought, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. Soul Hacker, oh, what a crushing song that is!
Love that song.
Brilliant. Again, going back to like on the heights of like stuff from Mechanize and the early stuff like Demanufacture. Yeah, Proto Mech, Heavy as Sin. Again, like you say, the gut rumbling guitar tone is back on that one. So there, that's really good. Church of Execution kind of reminds me a bit of Christploitation.
Oh,
So
very good song. I forgot to mention that one earlier.
yeah,
Very
man.
good song.
So it's kind of like mirror images of each other with that one. And Regenerate is a nice little number. I think Burton's vocals in that are really nice. Like it's got some good harmonies going on. And yeah, an expiration date again. Another. It's kind of like this is the end again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Fear Factory love mixing it up with the last song on their albums.
yeah. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it, and I'll definitely go back and listen to it again quite soon. So yeah, I think it's good to great. So if you wanted to put it in great, then that's cool by me.
Hell yeah, I'll put it in great.
Oh yeah.
And last but not least, we have their latest album, Aggression Continuum. Pretty much everything I said about Genexus applies to Aggression Continuum. I think this is another really great album from Fear Factory. Genuinely, really, really strong album. There's only maybe a couple of songs similar to Genexus that I don't particularly like. I hate track 9. I can't even remember what it's called, but I
Monolith.
think it's yeah, something like that. It's one of my
Yeah.
least favorite Fear Factory songs.
Right.
I know they like to try and mix it up a little bit every now and then, and most of the time it's successful, but that was a dud in my opinion.
Kind of a Digimortal one, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. But songs like Recode,
Yeah.
Disruptor, the title track, fuck me, man, what a great song that is.
Yeah.
And, even the deep cut, Fear Factory do really good deep cuts. Yeah, I love this album. To me, this goes sort of hand in hand with Genexus. I sort of see them both, even though they're not, as sort of like a side A and a side B, or a double disc album that was released separately, if
Yeah.
you will. So I would put it in great next to Genexus. I'm a big fan of this album.
Yeah, man. This is actually quite fresh in my memory because I first listened to it today. Because again, when it came, I didn't even like kind of realize that it had come out until like quite a long time after it had released. Because with like you say, with all the shit that was going on with Fear Factory at the time and still is now. Well, I know they've sort of sorted it out now, but again, it was like is Burton leaving, so then there was like something to do with like the rights to the name Fear Factory as well. Like whose band was it? Was it Dino's? Was it the other
Everything,
guy?
everything a band turmoil can go through, they went through.
They did. So I
Mm.
didn't even really realize at the time that this came out. So it was quite again another pleasant surprise. And then yeah, listened to it today. Funny enough, I was just telling Tom before we were recording that I actually listened to it on my lunch break at work, and it was like that must have been a very angry lunch break. I was like, well, yeah, it was funny because I was just sitting by the river having a sandwich with this in my ears. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Again, like you say, it's similar to Genexus. It was almost like they did come out kind of like hand in hand with each other. Purity, for example, has got quite a replica kind of vibe to it, I think. And Aggression Continuum itself has kind of got like the sort of self-bias resistor elements to it in there for me as well. Disruptor, very much like Edge Crusher or Shock in that way. So it kind of, again, being their 10th album officially, it was almost like Dino's like, let's do like a like trying to encompass everything that's good about Fear Factory. Also, you had like Monolith, which wasn't great, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Collapse, Fuel Injected, Suicide Machine.
Collapse is a great song.
Collapse is awesome. Yeah, really good track. And then again, End of Line, following on that trend of making you feel like really depressed that life's going to be taken over by machines, but it's really nice to listen to at the same time. So. Yeah, I'm going to listen to this again as well because I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's definitely at least good. But if you want to put it in great, then that's cool too.
And if this is the last ever album Burton appears on, I think it's a great way for him to bow out. So Aggression Continuum, I put it in the great category. If people want to put that album, or even Genexus for that matter, lower or maybe even higher. I wouldn't complain about that, but for me, I think it's a great album.
Yeah.
Okay, and there you have it. There's our ranking for Fear Factory's main studio albums. Do you agree with our rankings or picks, whatever you want to call it? Have we been very generous with some albums? Have we been too harsh with some? Let us know in the comments. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the content.
So what are you saying, Tom?
What I'm saying is, Sean, everybody have a good day and listen to Fear Factory.
Listen to Fear Factory, not Transgression.
Definitely not Transgression.